Okay.
No, I'm gonna be honest. That actually made me want to smoke weed. You were like,
Never been this, like, I've done it enough times, but it's just like, it's not for me.
that sounds like, I don't know, like, you know what it sound like? If I was making exact same noise, it'd be like getting into like a tub of like really cold water, but not too cold, just like, oh, yo, like, you know what I mean? Like one of those fucking things. But anyways, what's up, everybody?
Right. Oh, that is right. You're correct.
Yes. This is one of the weirdest ways we fucking started this show.
Yeah, but no one really describes that as like refreshing. It's more like, oh god, I can't believe I'm doing it.
No, like I find it refreshing, but also I've also heard this thing about like apparently crazy people really like cold showers. Like I don't know how true that is, but it makes so much sense for me because I'm crazy as fuck and I like me some cold showers.
Well, I know that people that like apparently the whole thing. Oh, you like warm showers? It's because you long for like affection and people's like touch or whatever, or some shit like that.
Holy shit! Wow. Wait,
That's
is that
what I
what
heard.
you-
I heard anything about cold
So
showers.
how hot you like your water, Alan?
I know. Well, I was gonna ask Alan too. I was like, wait, so like, is that what?
Actually,
you like,
no.
small showers?
I actually, well, not in the winter because I don't want to die, but during the summer I take cold showers all the time.
Oh, because he's cold bitch. I got you.
No, because I'm
Goddamn
wondering
right.
too, like, because
Just no one.
is there something about that, like when you have like a smaller like shower area, like you kind of want to be squished in a little bit?
He
I don't know.
definitely pushed in.
I have no fucking idea.
Okay, it was like a question. I don't know.
It's something that I read. I'm just like, I mean, yeah, I like a hot shower like anyone else, but like I'll take a cold shower. Again, usually during the summer, I'll keep it at like I'll keep it a little bit on the colder side, but closer to warm, and then at the end I'll just super cold just to lower my body temperature.
So really quick too, speaking of learning more about each other, et cetera, Jed, I'm gonna ask you the same question that we're pretty much talking about. I'm gonna test this, see how crazy you are. Do you like cold showers or hot showers?
Hot.
Okay, then she's normal.
But why'd you have to guess that? This woman likes to be hot consistently all the time.
Yeah, no, I'm not really good at
That
it.
is true. Ooh.
Like if she said cold, I'd be surprised.
Vogue. Vogue. Vogue.
Vogue? Wait, are you a Madonna fan? What the fuck is this?
What?
Listen,
You know,
he
that's not
said,
Vogue.
Jed likes to be hot all the time. And he's like, I know. Ooh,
Look,
Vogue.
hot girl
Vogue.
summer. It's almost here.
Oh, Jesus Christ, I fucking hate this. I hate this world with all these fucking songs and these memes and everything's a fucking joke. I can't stand it anymore.
Everything's always been a joke. You're just now realizing it.
Well, you know what? You know what, Alan? You know what? Shut up. That was a pretty good one. Good job, Nick. Oh, thank you so much. But anyways, guys, we are here yet again. We were here earlier today talking about just a bunch of random stuff. It was a big assortment of just like non-topics that we continually talked about for like an hour and a half. Really enjoyed that stuff. But one of the things we talked about was Shang-Chi. Or did I say that right? Shang-Chi?
I think so.
Yeah.
I've not heard anyone say the name, so I'm not sure if there's a different pronunciation.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, guys, we were talking about that. So if you guys are wondering, like, oh, you gonna talk about it again? No, we're not gonna talk about it again because I don't really think that's too necessary.
20 seconds. I think that the trailer is fantastic. I really like that they're essentially going for like, hey, we made Black Panther thing. Let's do that now for the Chinese audience. And I really think that they should do that with basically every culture that they can. Just pick characters and just do proper representation. Give them the money they need. Give them the cast that they want. And let them basically do what they want. I like that they're focused on choreography, which seems to stem from The Matrix, Crouch the Tiger, Hidden Dragon, and Hero. And I hope that it maintains throughout the rest of the movie.
Okay, wow, that's actually pretty perfect, and I kind of agree with pretty much everything you said there. We're joined really quick. I hear there's a bell up in here, and that bell is
I heard that
from
as Tommy
Williams.
Wiseau. I was like, Nick, what did you do?
I know, wouldn't it be great if Tommy Wiseau came in? He's like, "Hi guys, how you doing?" But Tommy, how's it going, man? Oh no, it's muted.
He muted his mic. His mic's muted, so just need to unmute him.
How is your sex life?
Oh God, no!
I still can't believe that's a part of that movie.
I really can't either, but at the same time, it totally makes sense. And gotta be honest, man, like I remember that line, and don't remember tons of others from other movies. So Tommy was so.
I still want to point out that the Nostalgia Critic review is funnier than the actual movie.
I can definitely agree with that. That's the thing with a lot of shit too. Like Super Mario Brothers, I don't think that the movie is as funny as people say. I think
No,
that the
it fucking
reviews are
is. It's
funnier.
fantastic. But obviously, the review is just as funny, if not funnier, because you don't get to sit through all the in between stuff. But that movie is, I still fucking love it every second.
But the big context, that's why I got our boy over here, Tommy Williams, aka Space Cowboy, if you guys have seen him in the chat and everything, is we're talking about 2 books, aka seasons today. Or I should have said that and vice versa, but it doesn't matter. Infinity Train, Book 3 and Book 4, we're talking about it finally. I've been bringing this shit up for so fucking long, and there's been a big build-up for like when Book 4 was going to release, and that was last week, so it's finally here. It's finally happening. Really quick though, Tommy, did you watch any of this all over again? Like, from book 1, 2, and 3? Did you rewatch them?
Like rewatching them?
Yeah. Did you rewatch them at all?
Yeah, the day before, or the night before book 4 came out, I rewatched book 3, and that was my first time watching it in full. And because back in August they released like in threes, they released like the first 4 or 5, like 1 week, then the next week it was 2 or 3, and then the last week it was like the last 2. And with the last 2, I was on vacation. Fun story. I was on vacation while those came out.
Mm-hmm.
And it was my birthday, I believe. So I got to wake up, for my birthday and watch the last 2 episodes of Book 3 of Infinity Train. So that's the mood.
Yeah, that's a very strange fucking thing there too. It's kind of like, yeah, man.
So yeah, being on vacation, it's just like right after that, I went to the beach, and I'm just sitting in the ocean, just all depressed and bummed out, while everyone around me is just having fun. But we'll get more to that when we get to it.
Yeah, dude. Because here's the thing. So I mean, I'm not really the best at giving a synopsis for movies. Or even shows or anything. I'll be the first. Yeah, like I'll be the first to tell you. It's like I come in here sometimes, and Jet will tell you too, especially with anime. Like I'll come in here and be like,
this guy, he came in and punched some guy, and then some bullshit happened, and then the movie's over.
yeah,
And then they're on a train.
yeah, yeah, and they're on a train. And it's an infinite train. It's like so much train. It's crazy.
And then,
It's a
and they're gonna
therapy
go to
train.
Busan. What the fuck?
Yeah. So, I'll let Alan mostly handle that, but I will say that, like, before we even continue into that part of this, book 1 and 2, just to reiterate somewhat, for those of you that want to watch this chronologically, or whatever the case may be, I really liked, season 1, season 2, and as we get into season 3, I was a little confused. Not confused, but just kind of like, okay, I don't know if I'm going to like this or not, because I don't like that they're not anthology series, but they are about different characters per season or per book, whatever the case may be, so I didn't like that aspect of it. Although in the second half of book 2, I actually started to kind of enjoy the character. But then once again, like I've said, you get into a new season, aka book. These characters are gone, and you got to reset all your attention. And who knows if we're going to care as much about the new character. And I think that the show works against itself like that, which is ballsy on their part because it has to be a very hard undertaking. But before we continue on too, Jed, I want to get your opinion on book 1 and 2 because you watched this after I did, and I didn't mind watching it a second time. But is there anything?
Hey Nick, why did she watch it on her own? Why did she have to watch it? Why did you watch it with her again, huh?
No, I did.
Yeah, why?
Because I like it.
Is there another reason that Jet will yell at you for?
Because it's good.
Oh,
stuff.
well, yeah, okay, so she did yell at me. All right, and she did that
I
on the
did.
show.
Yeah, she moved the mic.
No, she whooped my ass verbally. Here's the thing, though, Jet. I told you that I wanted to watch it with you earlier on, but you didn't want to watch it with me because you were like...
You literally told me you wanted to watch it when I was basically done with work and I was tired. And then you went and you watched it without me, and that was some dusty ass shit.
It sounds like a lot of problems that you gotta figure out, not me. I feel like, like you falling asleep is kind of a you thing, not me thing. But the thing is, we watched it together, though, finally. And I want to see really quick, because I think I've asked you this before.
Bitch.
I do want to ask you again, though. Going into book 3, Jet, did you have any preconceived notions about, like, okay, I'm not gonna like these characters as much as Tulip and this other character, or maybe this, maybe that, whatever, like, what'd you feel going into book 3?
No. When the characters were introduced in book 2, I was actually really interested in them because it's basically this group of crazy ass kids who basically have been on the train for long enough to where like their numbers are high as shit. So it's just like, okay, this is gonna be the crazy ass season.
A cult.
Yeah, essentially, yeah.
Hey.
Oh, they're essentially a cult. The Tiles told.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah,
Yeah, hell, even book 3, the subtitle for it is called Cult of the Conductor. Like every season has like a name to it.
Really? Yeah, see, damn, I didn't even fucking put that together in my own head. Jesus Christ. Yeah.
Season 1's called The Perennial Child. Season 2, I forget what it's called.
The season of the bald ass head.
Season of all that, yes. Yeah.
Yeah, or like, I don't know, like something like, basically they can just say like the nothing because it's about
book
the
2
null.
is called Crack Reflection. Season
Crack
3
cocaine.
is
Yeah, I was like, crack rock.
cocaine. Season 3 called The Conductor, and number 4 is simply called Duet.
Okay, wow, that's kind of a perfect name. Very simple. Very straight to the fucking point on that
We'll
one.
get to that too, yeah.
But yeah, dude. So like looking at this, man, I like the idea that like these people are they've been here for a while. They kind of like being assholes. You've seen all these other characters from book 1 and 2 always trying to bring their number down, and these people are like, no, we're gonna bring our number up. But man, you can take it away there, Alan. But I'm just gonna start off by saying that this had me feeling ways that I don't like watching these shows because of. But go ahead and give me your synopsis about what you remember, about the season 3.
Yeah, basically. So what's going on with this season, much like season 2, is where you get introduced to a couple of these characters in season 3 as a random episode is near the very end of the show, and you don't really see them again. And I remember watching season 2, going, you put too much emphasis on these guys to just immediately be forgotten. There's another story you're gonna tell. And again, people would I was watching with my buddies, and they're like immediately like, yeah, you're right. And then as soon as season 3 starts, basically what happens in this season is you get to learn more about, the cult of the Conductor. And it's basically a group of people who were following the ways of the old Conductor and basically believed that the higher your number was, the more power you had. So they would go around, they would find these kids, basically anyone that would want to work with them, mostly children, and would tell them, like, hey, you can do whatever the fuck you want here. Don't worry about the number. The higher the number, the more powerful. Look how high my number is. They're like thousands upon thousands. And they
also... Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh, it's all good. But basically what happens is they get separated from their pack really early on, and they got to spend the next 5 or 6 episodes basically just trying to get back home. And that's where we basically start off as these guys were essentially the villains of the last season. You're essentially following them through, and it's doing what it did with the second season of it's giving you the story of a character, but it's also basically letting you know about this world, a lot more of the rules, a lot more of what ends up happening, and a lot of what can end up happening if you don't really know what's going on with this train.
Yeah, exactly. And what do you want to add to that, by the way, Tommy?
Oh, I was just saying about how the numbers, they keep it as high as possible. They also believe that when you get your number down to 0, that means you just perish. So that's another reason why they want to keep their numbers high.
Yeah,
I noticed that subtle little detail too when rewatching it.
And I will say, that is one of those things that's kind of scary to me too. Let's say if I was in this world, I would probably assume the same thing, because when people do make it to 0, if they knew anybody who actually made it to 0, they just kind of go into the regular world, and for them, they don't.
When Tulip first got on the train, when the train stopped, she saw some person basically evaporating into a portal going to another world, which we learned later on was just that person returning home. But at first, we don't know anything, so we just thought that person fucking died.
Pretty much, and that ends up being the mentality where these people, it's like they don't trust anything that the train is. They think the train is just this weird enigma of a world, and they essentially get the power to control it. So as they go from essentially, they're essentially the bad guys, where as they go from train to train, they're essentially terrorizing everyone. Because it was one thing that I always wondered about season 1. I'm like, hey, where do these people have to eat and stuff, or sleep, or bathroom? It's like, no, they do. I don't know if they're immortal or not. I know that time still passes, but I'm not sure if they're immortal, because people actually no, they do age, because the 2 main characters start off as kids and they grow up. I'm not sure if they'll eventually grow old and die, but they do grow up. And it answers a lot of the extra questions that probably all I had. I'm like, do people have to eat? Do people age? Do people do this? Do people do that? And it goes through, but it does it on the guise of you're not supposed to like these guys right away. And they brought something up where it's an anthology series, so as you go from it's an anthology series with connecting tissue, but it becomes difficult because if you stuck with Tulip, you already like Tulip, so it makes sense. But her story kind of finishes, so they move on to a new character. You're not 100% sure if you're going to like them right away. This does the opposite. You hate them right away, or at least I did. I fucking loathe the 2 so much, because nothing pisses me off more than manipulating children. Lying to children for your own personal fucking gain. And I am fuming mad, because as an audience member, you already know the truth, because you've seen it for 2 seasons. But then you're just seeing these guys, and even if they don't know the truth, they're essentially manipulating children to keep their own power. And I was just mad that most of this season. So like, how dare you treat kids like this?
Yeah, especially when they get the remains of the cars they tear up, and they have all the children presenting their remains into a line. It's like, oh, thanks for the gifts.
Yeah, well, that's the biggest thing for me too, because for me, I actually really hated Simon right away, and I think they really wrote him to be like, okay, fuck this guy. I also didn't like Grace at first, because I feel like she was a very weak character. I don't like weak people who might have a heart of somewhat gold, but they're not doing things that would indicate that, because they want to either get some kind of gain in life, or for her sake, she's trying to get her numbers up. And I was like, yeah, she might be a good person, but she's kind of a bitch, because she's still trying to be powerful. Jay, I was gonna ask you, did you have a problem with Grace right away? Because I felt slightly that you would have probably liked her just because Simon's so fucking annoying. But what'd you feel about Grace mostly?
When she was first introduced in season 2, I actually had a lot of fun with her. Simon, I didn't really care for that much. And then when actually season 3 started, at first when they were getting ready to go raid the train, I was just like, oh, okay, I don't really mind them. But when they actually do raid the train, the first train, just like, oh, this is terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible ass fucking people.
Yeah, this is some Batman villain shit going on right here.
Yeah, it really is.
And it continues on, like it continues on throughout it, where they meet up with that girl, and oh, bro, I have not been so mad at a character's action than when there's a death that happens in this season.
Yeah,
I legitimately I had to walk into another room and take a couple breaths because I've not been so mad in such a long time. Because I already hate these people, and then they get somebody killed in the most malice way. I'm just like, oh my god, there's nothing. The thing is, I was mad at one character, but I was mad at the other characters. I'm like, you are the reason this fucking happened. There is absolutely nothing this season can do to redeem that character. I don't care what the fuck happens. That person could cure cancer. I don't give a shit. And I was just mad for the next like 4 episodes.
And it feels like it's almost done for like racial reasons because they look at these characters that are not like, you know, they're not passengers on this train, and passengers are people that were in the regular world.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they come into the Infinity Train from the outside. But the thing is, though, it's like these other characters that have been inside the Infinity Train that are not passengers, these characters are called nulls. And these nulls, they look at like, oh, you're here just to serve us passengers. You ain't shit. So when they do something where they kill one of these nulls, it's like, okay, like this is their land technically, and you just came in and like Americanized this shit. Like you just come in and fucking like, you know, steal their land from them and throw them away. You know. What were you saying, Tommy?
Yeah, you pulled a Columbus going on.
No shit, yeah. It's like fucking ridiculous.
It's Viking ratings, basically. Steal what you want, take what you need, you own the absolute power. And it ends up being the case there. And to basically move on from a lot of what's going on with the bad, and this might go into a bit of spoiler territory, basically going in spoilers for season 3. The Grace's character, the one that essentially starts all this, I hated her from the moment that you met her because to her, she was clearly the leader of this cult. And she's corrupting every single person around her to essentially continue her own power. So when she starts to quote unquote develop a conscience, I don't give a fuck about you. You are the reason all this is happening, and I don't feel bad for you at all.
Like
fuck
later
you.
on in the later on.
I see. No, when you meet her and throughout most of season 3. So when the death happens with basically Ori from Ori the Blind Forest, that's where I got screamingly mad. I'm like, I don't give a fuck what you do. Yeah, Simon was the one that did it, but it's all because of you. She basically to me was the emperor. And he's just Darth Vader. Like, she basically caused all this bullshit to happen. And I'm like, there's no fucking way you can redeem this character at fucking all. And then the show's like, no. Bullshit. Fuck you. Yeah, we're going to give you 2 episodes in a row to explain a very simple thing. She was wrong. In the most innocent way possible of, she just didn't know the fucking rules. She was just survived for surviving sake. Tulip got lucky. Tulip got lucky and bumped into a bunch of people that essentially told her the thing right away. She saw the same thing that they probably saw where somebody got eviscerated, and she assumed that number going down was bad, but then she got told number going down is actually good. What if you weren't told that second part? You would assume that the higher number was the better part. Yeah. So
So when it comes down to it, the sad like this whole season was basically a travesty. Not like it was bad, just like it was just fucking like depressing because you can actually just be like, okay, if this didn't happen, then this wouldn't have happened. And because the rules weren't explained to me this way because of like things that happened in like the first season, now this is happening. It's just like things of consequence. The sad thing is like within all the seasons, Grace and Simon never really got anything explained to them, like Alan was saying. But the thing is, in book 1, Tulip at least got stuff explained to her. In book 2, one character basically already knew. And in season 4, there's a character that just explained everything, like straight up. And then you start to think like, okay, what if one of those nulls were actually there to explain all this to them? This wouldn't happen because it turns out like when they first got on the train, they were like 10 years old, and now they're like 17, 18.
Yeah.
Yeah, and but does that hurt the season's quality in your guys' opinion? Because like
it's actually fantastic, and it's always one of my issues where it's like, it's always like, well, how do you explain someone being this evil and this bad? And it's like usually it's like, oh, I was sad once and now I just take it out. It's like, no, she was just wrong, because it makes sense. Like Tulip got fucking lucky. She just happened to bump into the people that was necessary for her to figure it out. I was thinking, like, how would you figure this out otherwise if you didn't have someone to explain to? Because again, in season 1 is a huge problem with the train. 1-1 basically gets out of the computer, and nobody explains to the people because they're supposed to get the explanation. The whole season 2 does it where the whole pod and, hey, welcome to here. You're gonna work through your feelings, then you leave. But because 1-1 was gone for so long because of the old conductor essentially just trying to create the perfect room for herself, it ended up fucking up the whole train, which means it fucked up there because she's been trying for like 20 fucking years trying to get her husband back, and then ended up basically fucking it up for everybody. So there's probably people trapped on that for a lot longer.
Yeah, but Tommy, really quick, do you feel like this ruined, or like the fact that people didn't know so much about this world, did it ruin the season for you at all, or make it like not as good as 1 and 2?
No, in fact, I think this is the best season of the 3, to be honest. Like season 1 and 2, these characters in this world are so well, developed and well written. But like, I mean, everything you just said is true to me. I'm sorry, I'm a little tired tonight.
No, it's all good. But yeah, man, like for me, no, I'm looking at something like this, and look, I'm not saying that this show is not good when it's like this, or whatever, but like, I did not like how I felt. And Alan's gonna give me shit for this, probably Jet too. But
I felt things, and I was like, I thought I saw a tear, and I got mad at that tear. I started punching myself. Like, fuck you for feeling.
No, but like, dude, like and I was even like a little upset with like season 1, season 2, but it was like, oh, well, this makes sense. It's making me feel, it's whatever. This like. And I mean, Alan, you said you had to walk out the room, and it's like, do you like feeling that way? Like, I don't, like, I was really fucking mad. Like,
yeah, because at the end of the day, I like feeling that way. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
That's the intent. That was clearly the intent of the show going on. Just how that's clear how they intended like these characters it to be written. For me, that's what I interpret from it.
No,
well,
like
at the end of the day, it's like. Oh, sorry, go ahead, Nick.
No, I was gonna say, like, I'm fully aware of that, but like, I mean, granted, like, review-wise, this is an opinion, and like for me, it's like, I know, like, for example, Endgame, everything I saw in there, it was definitely intended. It was stupid as fuck. They intended.
But the thing is, it's like, for me, it's like personally, because it was intended, but just because it's its intention doesn't mean it pulls it off. There's a lot of intentional stuff in Endgame, to bring that up, for instance, that I felt personally didn't work. A lot of the stuff with Thor, it's like, oh, he's supposed to be depressed, and that's how people deal with depression. Yeah, but I don't like how you tackled it. Whatever your intent was didn't work with me. However, everything worked here. I'm supposed to be mad at Simon. Maybe I'm not supposed to hate Grace as much as I did, because Jet didn't hate Grace as much as I did. I don't think anyone really hates that character as much as I did. But
like later on in the season, when it explains their origins, where they came from, and how Grace ended up on the train, you realize these are really tragic characters.
It nails whatever it tries to go to. And thanks for liking the stream, Nick Carey. But yeah, it nails what it tries to do. And I think that's at the end of the day. It's like, yeah, I like feeling that way. Because I'm never going to forget that. Someone brings up Grace, I'll be like, yeah, I was really fucking mad. And I'm not going to forget all the characters, because at the end of the day, that's the intention of the show. And it's brilliant when a show has a particular intention that pulls it off. How many times do we watch stuff that's supposed to be emotional and we're just like staring at the ceiling going, we don't care about these characters? We probably name 100 things right now. But the ones that stick out, oh my fucking goddamn, we started Riverdale. And I see Mikey in the fucking Facebook chat. That forced me to watch that shit.
You didn't have to watch it. You chose to watch it. And I'm pretty sure you watched it.
First of all, I'm hello, y'all. I'm going to give it back after training my dog. Alan, I watched. Try to get you to watch Riverdale with me.
We did for 3 seasons.
You told me no. I'm not watching no more of that. But as soon as you got asked to watch more of it, look who came back to the crap pipe and sucking that dick. Oh,
fuck you. You're acting like you watch it now, you motherfucker.
Fuck no, because I got off that shit. You should too.
I tried to. I was off it for like a season and a half.
Alan, that's okay.
Dumb shit that happens. Archie's in the war.
Alan, if you like Riverdale, it's fine, dude. I mean, I'm not gonna
go fuck yourself. We're talking about Infinity Trade.
Is that about canoe racing?
I don't know, probably. Yeah, you'd think so. But any fucking way. Back to the show. The intent is almost irrelevant. It's how you execute it. Yes, you could do all you want with. Oh, I mean, they had a lot of intention with season 1 of, hey, you to feel sad for Tulip going through that divorce and how she managed to change all of her memories because of a traumatic event. that could have easily failed, but they managed to make it work with the voice acting, animation, and the way they took a lot of breaths and actually made you feel a lot of the emotions. A show that can pull that off is really fucking good, and I applaud any form of media that can actually do it properly. Because one of the things that bothers me, for instance, talking with the Soldier, is I want to feel that way with these characters. I don't want to sit there and be like, oh, cool, it's a punch guy thing. I'm like, no, I want to feel how it feels to be like Falcon. I want to know what the trauma that the Winter Soldier has to go through. And one of the biggest problems is I don't. Then you go to WandaVision, it's like, yeah, I understand her grief. I understand why she was willing to do this and how upset she is that she's losing it. Like, it's one show that pulls opposites and one that doesn't. Where with Infinity Train, it's like, yes, I feeling that is important, if that's the intent of the author, and it is. Like, I'm not going to be mad because I felt angry when I was supposed to feel angry.
Okay, no, that makes sense. I mean, and I guess like that, for me, it's just, and I wish I can give my point of view, like, Aslan, have so much thought, but I don't. It's just a really simple thing for me. Is just, I don't like feeling bad, man. And it's like this character over here, Hazel, dude, like, really good
man, that
acting.
killed me. I could handle it, man. Straight up, I consider just, let's watch this next week, guys. I can't deal with this shit right now.
Yeah, no, I mean, dude, like, the way the acting is amazing. It's too good, man. It's too good. It's like,
So
fuck.
that's the problem, is that this is too good.
It's too good. Yeah, no, it's
She's just like, no, what got me? She's like, if I'm good, will he come back? I'm like, oh my fucking god, I'm so mad right now.
Someone get this baby some milk.
You goddamn right, I'm a baby. Fuck you.
No, and then like when
Yeah,
she's
right.
starting to turn into that I mean, I guess her null
Turtle.
form, whatever, yeah, or turtle, yeah, there you go, her turtle form. It's like the fact that she's trying to hide that, and Grace trying to hide it, and then Simon's being a fucking asshole. And like, by the way, too, so when you go into other movies, and I'll say horror movies, I'll say comic movies, everything. When there's a character who did something really shitty, they seem to be either extra gleeful or extra like villainous, like, yes, I destroyed her, I killed somebody, whatever. Oh yes, tears. But I thought it was way more effective in this, where Simon's literally like, stop fucking crying. Like, it's like it was nothing to him to get rid of somebody that belonged to Hazel. And I don't know why, but like his just nonchalantness was more aggravating than fucking any villain I've ever seen.
He's a fucking monster. Like the thing, he's
Evil
a complete
fuck.
he's a complete narcissist. And the thing is about this season is like basically consequences for your actions. And like when it comes to Simon, he basically would not take any repercussion for anything that he did. Like it's just like, you abandoned me.
The thing is, when it came to Simon, at first I was mad at him, of course, because he's doing his actions. But every action he did, I also got mad at Grace because Grace created him. Grace basically.
Oh yeah, Grace played a big part in it, but the difference between him and the difference between Grace and Simon is that Grace actually made gradual changes to become a better person, while Simon just got worse and worse and would not basically look at things in the other way and just be like, okay, maybe I was wrong about this stuff. Maybe gnolls are people, and maybe I'm just a piece of shit. Like maybe I've been doing terrible things. He would not admit to nothing. He just got worse.
The
and worse.
thing is, he also learned from Grace, who for essentially a decade did the same thing. He's almost looking at her, going, "What's wrong with you?" Because technically he's right. Like they're a figment of the train, and they're created by the train. They still have lives and personalities. They still exist and have lives and stuff. But he basically learned that from Grace, and that was always the biggest problem.
Yeah, and because he learned it from Grace, the more it goes on, he's just doing what he's doing, because he thinks it's right. But it does get at a certain point to where it's like, yeah, you can't be redeemed.
And that's the thing. Like when Grace was so quote unquote growing her conscience, I'm like, oh, now you decide to grow a conscience? Really? Good. That's fucking convenient. But it's like it makes sense that eventually people are going to change when they're granted with new information, especially when a kid is involved. But I was also kind of like, look, you don't deserve that much like slack too. You created this monster. You also need to own up to the consequences. She eventually does, in a way that's like, okay, this is extremely adult of you. And that's what I like about the show. It's an extremely adult show.
I'm not gonna lie. My favorite part, I don't mean to interrupt, but just go off. One of my favorite parts about the season is just seeing Grace and Simon's whole world and what their knowledge of how this train works just get debunked as it goes along. I'm not gonna say how, but it's just kind of fucking hilarious. And
I love they had a choreographed fight scene at some point.
Really, that's what you think?
Yeah, dude. And no, that's funny. I knew Alan was gonna like that too. The fucking choreographed fight scene. But...
I turned to my buddy. I'm like, y'all, you could have just told me there's choreographed fight scenes in here. I would have watched this sooner.
But the thing is, though, to wrap it somewhat up, because I do want to get into season 4 soon. But the thing is, though, is like for me, the reason why I brought up so often, because I know I probably repeat myself quite a bit, but it's like, the reason why I brought up basically the whole like it's almost too good as far as the villainy goes, is because I now will not be satisfied with however it ends. Spoiler alert, it's been out for a year, so don't bitch. But Simon dies, and I'm still not happy. Like,
That dude
I
got
wanted him
killed
tortured.
hard.
Yeah,
Wow.
I wanted him
Like,
to burn.
dude, he got the hardest death in the entire show. Like,
Yeah,
he got
I'm gonna watch
skeleton.
that
Yeah.
show too.
Yeah.
Just spoil the shit out of it for me.
Sorry.
Look, watch it. You'll still like it.
But, like,
or you'll
Tommy-
cry like a bitch. Like apparently Nick did. Apparently he just cried someone holding him.
Well, like that's almost like one of the reasons why I don't like a lot of things that Jazz shows me, because like it's one of those things where like no matter how the thing ends, I'm unsatisfied, because it just, even if it's true, even if it's straight up, even if it's realistic, it's like it really puts you in a bad zone where I don't feel escaped. I feel like I'm just in this miserable bubble, and I'm like, I wish I would. I mean, this was like working. This is fucking.
That's really the thing with book 3 is that, you like going into it, especially if you're gonna watch it all at once. It's one of the things where you really gotta emotionally prepare yourself for it. Because after rewatching it all at once last week, I mean, for all the reasons they intended it, it doesn't make anything negative about it. Like afterwards, like sitting there's like, I gotta have a drink. I gotta calm down. Right now.
I gotta just punch
I
the
gotta
wall
watch
because I'm so
something
mad.
like Amazing World of Gumball. Yay!
Yeah, but
Yeah,
at the end
I
of the day,
know.
it's like I wanted to change something I said earlier. I said that it's an extremely adult show. I meant it more. It's for all ages, because at the end of the day, it's like, yeah, that's skeletizing TV. Probably not something you want to put a kid in front of.
Well,
However, the show itself, for the again 3 and including 4 seasons, you can sit anyone down. 30-year-olds like us, or freaking 10-year-olds, you can sit them down, and the lessons in the show, especially when it goes into season 4, you can watch it and enjoy it and get what you needed. It's like a Pixar. Do you sit there and say Pixar's for adults because you're gonna cry? Like Soul, is Soul an adult movie? No, it's for all ages. It's for kids. It's for adults. Everyone can get the message out of there. Same thing with the Infinity Train. You can
I've
basically
recommended this show to a lot of people I know. Like I told a coworker about it who has kids. I'm like, yeah, is this something I can watch with my kids? Like, yeah, the first 2 seasons are. Book 3, I'd probably.
I still think it is. Yeah, there's a very graphic death at the end, but I think for the most part, the show, it's like it's gonna hit you, but it's also gonna basically make you feel things. And Nick hates to feel things other than pure anger or just raw carnage. But if you want to feel something else,
I don't know if I'd let a kid watch that, because if I were a kid, I wouldn't shit right for a week.
I think I would. I mean, I want to sit through them. It's like the only thing is, the graphic.
I'll build character too. I'm just kidding.
There's a graphic death, and that's the only thing that would be like, yeah, maybe not see that part. But
I've seen titties when I was 6. I don't give a shit.
Well, I don't think kids are supposed to see titties at 6 though.
yeah, there's no
But, I mean, I
nudity
get
in
you.
this season, y'all.
Okay, I was watching Freddy Krueger when I was 3, and I wouldn't recommend 3-year-olds watch Freddy Krueger. That'd be
I was
a little-
watching horror movie. I watched a bunch of horror movies at 11, and they scarred me for life.
Dude, I killed an old man when I was 5 months old.
I watched Jaws when I was 5. I'm good.
But
This isn't that bad.
What is this? The fucked up growing up
scary.
like Olympics? What the hell is
I
that?
know,
Jeff,
right?
join us in. Where do you stand?
the V&A
Hey,
fucked
it's
up.
you watch
James
it like
taking the torch.
I was like, that ass kid, the fuck?
Oh, bullshit, you goddamn liar.
But moving on though, like I'm gonna go and give my rating, and like for this, like yeah, it's a 4 out of 5. It's still damn near perfect to me. But at the same time, I think the issue is for me is that when you make something, if you build a stack of, oh fuck this thing, and then like this thing, even if it dies, it still kind of wins, and like there's so much like just kind of like miserable bullshit going on during the show. Even if it's written well, it's like. I wouldn't recommend this to people, like, for book 1 and 2, if you're a person who's sad and shit and you're trying to escape and whatever, maybe this show might make you a little bit sadder, but then kind of build you back up. Book 3 will say, no, life fucking sucks, and it'll sit you there and remind you that things are terrible. And you'll leave and you'll be like, fuck, I wish I didn't watch that tonight. And for me, it's like, for people that might have emotional issues watching these shows in general, this is one where you might want to skip. But like, yeah, book 3, 4 out of 5, it's great. I'm never watching it again. Tommy.
Best thing ever. Once.
Yep, exactly.
Okay, because I'm not a pussy, I should say, like,
Damn, Nick's gonna kill you for that one.
Oh, no,
Nah,
it's okay.
you don't find out where I live. Anyway, well, really, you got to go into it kind of knowing that, it's not going to be an easy sit at all. Like, it's going to be really depressing, and but still, like seasons 1 and 2, it's a completely rewarding experience and still moving at the end. So, and that's why I think this is the best season yet. It's just this season overall is the example why this show is a masterclass in animated story, or any kind of storytelling nowadays, and character development. Like these are really great characters that can range from really likable to really tragic. And yeah, this is a great example of that. So for me, this season's a 5 out of 5, and this is the best season
awesome.
yet.
That's really cool to hear you say that, man. But I'm gonna see where Jet
And like I
stands.
said, I needed to calm down, have a drink, get some ice cream, cheer myself up afterwards. So any
Yeah.
show that could do that to me, with a positive intent, I gotta give credit for.
No, I totally respect that too. Because if I wasn't such a sensitive fuck, sometimes I probably would have liked it a lot more. But Jet, out of 5, what would you give this? And any comments that you feel like you should make that we did not?
This is actually my favorite season, like literally out of the 4. Like all the characters were done like incredibly well. You feel for quite a few, and like what happens to them is literally so tragic, and it basically shows like literally anything can happen on this fucking train. And this season literally shows you like the darker side of the train. Like you get multiple deaths this fucking season. It's just
They're
like
all hard.
Yeah.
like in the first season, you don't expect this shit, and then the second one's just like, oh my god, this girl
Yeah.
just committed 2 fucking murders, and this one just like, 2.
I forgot to mention, anyone can get it in this show. It's why you got to be on the edge of your seat.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And JR Will says, what show is this? This is Infinity Train. And if you're talking about the podcast itself, we're the chat tag, we're the pre-show for Double Toasted. Website's going to be starting very, very soon. But since you're over there on that YouTube page, hang out with us, and I'll let you know when Double Toasted starts. You can go over there, watch them, all that good stuff. But, all Nerd's Court right there, so he's probably going to be starting soon. Alan, tell the people what you think. I'll be right back.
Drop that knowledge, Alan.
Alrighty then. So basically, yeah, I'm kind of with it. This is my favorite season as well. Though it's tied with season 1, because season 1 to me, it's like, it was the first real complete story, and I love season 1 a lot because I wasn't sure what to expect, and there's so much ideas like what this train could be. And season 3 is really fucking good too, because it's like, hey, we're gonna basically, yeah, like Jed said, show you the darker side of the train, show you a lot of stuff that's going on, and it kept me on a roller coaster. This was a roller coaster of emotions that it should have failed at every single step. Like, we're going to do this anthology theories. We're not going to do any characters you like. In fact, these characters you're not going to like for a majority of this. But then we somehow redeem them. And something that always pisses me off is like a redemption arc that feels forced. Where it's like, oh, we got to redeem this character, but there's no redeemable values until there are. It really pulls it off in a really interesting way that this is a show for... I'm not surprised Cartoon Network didn't want this on their show, because they're like, well, we only want stupid kid things that you don't have to think about and don't have to, just random gifts and all that shit. This you have to actually think about. Like, this actually will bring out a lot of emotions of how you're living your life. What would you do if you were on the train? What emotional stunts are stuck in your life? I still want to know what the numbers mean. I know the numbers mean how, like, what you have to go to, but why do you get a certain number? Why does that number go down to a certain degree? Like 202, like in the next season, 202. Why is it 202? Why is it a random number? Like, I want to know why. And I hope one day they explain that. But yeah, this has everything from the funniest moments, the saddest moments, the most anger-inducing moments I had to take a break and just go, I can't. I'm glad this was 11 minutes because, man, there's sometimes you just need to fucking walk and take a breath after it.
Every single 11-minute segment of...
And the fact that they do so much storytelling in 11 minutes is actually kind of incredible. I've not seen this since like Avatar, The Last Airbender, where you manage to pack so much in such a small amount of time. This is definitely a 4.5 out of 5, and I recommend it to everybody. And I hope the spoilers won't stop people from watching it, but I recommend watch it. Like, it's on. I know season 3 is on HBO Max. I'm not sure about season 1.
All 4 seasons are on HBO
All
Max.
4 seasons? Okay, yeah. Recommend watching them all. It'll help the creator make more stuff, and it just shows, the fantastic storytelling can be told to all ages. You don't have to sit there and do dark stories just to
prove Cartoon Network wrong. Like, we don't need
Cartoon
a
Network wrong. Cartoon Network's always wrong. You have to prove them wrong, but just allow this show to keep going.
Well, no, the reason why you're saying that is that Cartoon Network actually says that no one really wants to watch the show. They've literally put that out there and said that there's not going to be a book 5 because of it's not popular. But it's like, prove us wrong.
No, because it doesn't have a child entry point.
Well, at the end of the day, it's like, look, from their point of view, I get it, because it's like, look, the show was it was called Hit. It is going to be kind of hard to show something this kind of sad to kids. So I get it from their perspective of it doesn't bring money in. It was the same, but they want like stuff again, World of Gumball or other cartoon. I don't really know any other Cartoon Network shows. I'm sure someone in the chat will say.
Elliot from Earth is another one that.
Where it's like kind of just dumb and for kids and doesn't have to think too much.
Well, maybe World of Gumball's not dumb.
I don't know any other shows off the top of my head, but it's that idea of like this is too smart for the average child, and I always hate that because kids aren't stupid. Kids will understand stuff. Hell, all of us fucking saw traumatizing shit when you were younger. We weren't stupid and forgot about it. We forgot about some, but not the important shit.
Yeah.
I love Gumball.
But really
Yeah,
quick
that's
though,
why Disney's kicking your ass in terms of television animation right now, and Netflix.
yeah. One thing to continue on. By the way, before I forget too, because Jay, I know you said that this was your favorite season so far, but did you get like an actual numeric rating? Because Corey was calling me, so I completely fucking missed that point.
Oh, it would be a 5 out of 5.
Okay, cool. Damn, so I'm the only motherfucker
It's
to give this like. Oh, I mean,
Oh
Alan
no,
gave it 4.5
I
out
gave
of
it
5.
4.5.
Yeah.
You know how I feel about perfect ratings.
Yep, no, that's true. So, yeah, but now moving on, and this will be a lot quicker than the last one. At least I would hope, because if not, we're gonna be here for a while. But the thing is, though, this new season, which is called Duet, that Tommy actually, I didn't know this before Tommy didn't say anything, but
Yeah.
you know,
I come prepared.
it's about two buddies that used to grow up, you know, like they're used to grow up. They stopped at some point. No, but like they grew up together. And Ryan's over here on the right side with the glasses. His whole thing is just he wants to be in a rock band, wants to be famous, wants to be a rock star. And on the left, you got Minji, who just wants to kind of like be safe, you know, do what he has to do, make money, be successful. But you know, he has a certain way of kind of
Scary
like.
ass.
To an extent, because I see a lot of
Motherfucker wants to have a job and doesn't want to be a bum in a car.
I'm gonna go to
Ooh,
college.
oh no, he's such a
and learn
bad guy.
finance.
Fuck, man. Fuck Ryan.
I didn't say he was a bad guy. I just said he was scary as fuck. The scary ass.
We'll go. I'll get in.
Ryan, bum ass.
But no, so here's the thing though, I mean, and that's pretty much the synopsis, because once upon a time, you know, that happens, you know, like they kind of, you know, have a fork in the middle of the road, and then, you know, Ryan goes and does his fucking thing, and becomes a little upset, because it's like, yeah, like, while being a rock star, yes, you get to make money doing whatever you gotta do, you know, doing what you want to do, but at the same time, it's like, you don't, it's fucking hard, you know, like, if you don't become famous right away, there's a lot of struggle that comes with it, and he even has to sell his van, his little rock star van and shit, because, you know, he couldn't make no money. He didn't succeed the way he thought. And Minji is succeeding, but as a person, as being happy in life, he's unsucceeding, because he's like, dude, I'm doing whatever the fuck I can, you know, and I'm just, I wish I had Ryan's life, and he has it easy, but he doesn't know that Ryan doesn't have it easy. So it's almost like these two guys respect each other, but don't respect what they've been through, and look at each other's lives almost like in an envious way, when they don't realize how connected they actually are at the end of the day.
Grass is greener type stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah, I love the beginning when they just show the side by side of each, you know, both of them living their lives. Sometimes it's positive, sometimes it's not. Like, yeah, but
Yeah. No, I like that too a lot, because
love
that's the biggest thing too. Like seeing them grow up and seeing them both, you know, they're happy, and as they get older, one becomes even more happy, but more a little too idealistic, while the other
They
one's
both-
more chill, you know.
and they both separate too. You know, they have a falling out.
Yeah, but it was almost like one of those passive falling outs. Like, because I will say, I've fallen out with people in my life, and I never felt like I can't come back and talk to them and shit. And the fact that they're able to later on, I was like, okay, well, that is like almost true love. And you can have true love with your bros and not be some gay shit.
Oh, really? You got change it too, and it's no longer gay, according to you?
I mean, it's still a little gay.
Well,
Which is fine.
Swear.
Which is
You're
fine.
the worst.
they have a very platonic relationship. We'll get to that.
Yeah, they're friends. Like, fuck.
They're very, very good. Maybe there's some hints that they're gay,
Oh
but
my
they kiss at
fucking
the
god,
end.
I hate everyone.
Secret lovers.
Swear to God,
That's
two people
who
can't be
we
friends
are.
that ever wanted them to fuck.
Well, I mean, there's some hints. You know,
No, there isn't.
No,
There are a
actually,
few.
believe it or not, dude, like
Yeah,
there's
they
actually
are.
a discussion like on social media that there's actually people that think that these guys are gay. I'm not joking.
No, my
Well, they're just still stuck in that closet.
Yeah, which is fine. Hey, maybe sometimes you don't know you love somebody until their dick's in your mouth. So I totally get it. I totally understand it. It's fine.
They
I
blushed a
hate this
couple times at each
entire
other.
conversation.
That's why I
Well,
always tell
we-
Alan to blow me, but
well,
he
I
never
don't mean
does
to-
it. He's not gonna find out, you know.
No pun intended, but we got this train right off the rails.
Damn straight, and that's a terrible pun. I hate it. The thing is, though, I'm looking at this, and one of the things that me and Jet kept saying as we're watching this, and actually, Jet, what was the thing that you thought of when we're watching this? I'm gonna let you say it.
It's just like this reminds me of Alan and you.
Yep, absolutely. Now, I disagreed a little bit in the beginning, but then I started seeing it towards the end, especially in the middle, actually. But the thing is, though, it's like I see this as them, and I'll respond to that in a minute, email, because no one else here gives a fuck about wrestling. I'm sorry, man, but I'll definitely respond in a little bit because I do have some thoughts about that shit. But for me, it's like I see that, but I see myself in both these characters, and I think I see Alan in both of these characters too, because there's a lot of things about Ryan that reminds me of Alan, but for obvious reasons, that guy is probably a lot like me. But, like, is that a good thing or a bad thing? And I'm going to ask Alan, like, did this make you feel relatable, but in a negative way or in a happy way?
It was relatable, but like, I've literally gone what Min's gone through. Quite literally. He says a line halfway through that maybe just pause it for a second, where he's just like, "I'm going to university because that's what my parents want." I'm like, Man, fuck this show.
Yeah.
I have to that same bullshit. I look at him as a green.
Yeah,
Too,
no,
actually, but yeah.
and like I've been this guy where I want to be in a band and I have all these stupid fucking dreams. I'm like, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna be a wrestler, and I'm gonna be this guy, and I'm gonna be a great podcaster. I'm gonna do this, and then years later, I don't got shit, and it's like, hey, so can I work at that restaurant you're working at? You know what I mean? Like, fucking sucks.
To quote the Cat in the Hat, like, you're a control freak and you're a rule breaker. Now, who's your insurance carrier?
Oh,
But
Jesus
as far
Christ.
as but that's what the individual characters is. As far as what the overall plot of this, it's really indicative of what this show essentially wants to be. Because one of the things that we're talking about with the last 3 seasons is it's an anthology, yes, but there's a connecting thread between the characters. Nick, you're showing the wrong screen.
Oh, sorry, I was responding to Gary. My bad. Sorry, Gary, or whatever.
There's a connecting thread through each season. Season 1 with Tulip, you get introduced
you
to
so much,
the
by the
Mirror
way.
Tulip. Oh, good. You get introduced to Mirror Tulip. The Mirror Tulip introduces you to Grace and Simon. And it's almost like a trilogy of movies, Infinity Train 1, 2, and 3, and the trilogy ends. This is a complete departure, except for one character that might be the same character as in another one. This almost has nothing to do with it, but this kind of just shows, like, we can essentially tell whatever story we want within this universe. We don't have to sit there and be like, well, we need to connect it to the last season with this, and this. Like, no, we just told a story about 2 friends, and that's the season.
Yeah, this is definitely the most simple season yet. The more, not to, detriment, not to its detriment. But, there's definitely some, hints of like this connecting to the other season. But for the most part, this is just a story about 2 friends rekindling their friendship and, learning more about each other, which is basically the purpose of the train, is to learn lessons. And, there's no real, like, danger or anything going on. Like, it's perfectly safe.
Yeah.
The thing is, though, is like because of that, the low stakes almost made me feel like there's stakes everywhere. Like at any time, these guys can have another falling out.
I mean, yeah, exactly.
Well,
I mean?
it also has my favorite character in this entire series, like the freaking Callus. I keep mispronouncing her name. She is
Callus.
fucking hilarious.
Has the bell?
Yeah, I fucking loved her from the moment she shows up. She just comes in and Jet, don't think this the wrong way, but she's you.
Yeah, I kept telling her that. Kaz is her name. I was
Kaz
like,
just comes in, just starts saying, right, yeah, you have to like work your problems out and stuff and things, and then just fucks off randomly.
See, I'm at least giving you an explanation so you don't end up on like fucking season 3.
Yeah, but there wasn't an explanation. At one point, one of the characters goes, "What are you saying? Was that an explanation? No
Yeah,
wonder
she
you don't
says,
do
like-
this."
Like, we should, it's like, I don't understand half the shit you say.
And everywhere they go, it's just a problem she caused. And I'm like, look, man, I don't know how you managed to piss off everyone in this train, but I am just loving this.
I know. It's like, they get to one part, it's like, were you the butter incident? Yes.
yeah, which I mean, it's funny, but like the reason why I saw Jet and Kaz, because you guys don't know, but and I mean, we might get a little personal on the show today, but like, there's times you gotta keep in mind, most of us on this show in the chat tag, we got mental fucking problems, right? Like like I literally.
Oh,
have
really? We've been screaming about Marvel movies for 3 years.
But,
We're
like,
totally
on that,
sane.
But on that though, it's like there's certain times where we have so many like issues and we don't really like to confide too much in each other. But there is this one thing that keeps happening where Jet's usually that voice of reason. That's like, I mean, I don't know who like decided to say, hey, Jet's gonna be the official counselor of the chat attack, but I think sometimes like we all go like, hey Jet, the crazy person who talks about eating bugs and all this crazy shit, can you bring some light to my darkness, please? And,
Well, she just happens to be right most of the time.
yeah, I mean, really, don't hopefully you don't get an ego about it. But I'm just saying, like, like Jet.
What the hell am I gonna do with an ego? Eat it?
You literally tag on to every bully character ever.
Yeah,
Yeah, because development and it's fun.
We literally had a conversation an hour ago about how you like Rachel McAdams in Mean Girls because she's the bully.
Because she was the best person in the damn movie.
Sure.
Name a more iconic role in Mean Girl. Tell
I
me
haven't
right
seen
now.
Mean
None. I don't like the movie.
Years.
Oh my god.
I'll say it again. I don't fucking like Mean Girls.
Mr. Solid 2, peace out, dude. Take care. But yeah, like that's the thing. I love Kez because she adds a layer of unpredictability to everything. Because it's like, okay, I know she's gonna fuck something up, but how she's going to do it. But then it's like she does things that actually helps. I'm like, well, I didn't expect that. I thought she was gonna fuck something else up. And oh, go ahead.
And her relation, and her character, and even her relationship with somebody we meet later in the season, kind of parallels Ryan, both Ryan and Ming,
Yeah.
to be honest.
Yeah,
So
yeah, for
it
sure.
works on that level too.
But Jed, I'm gonna ask you too. Is like because you know us and everything, and because you feel. I mean, honestly, I think it's almost inarguable that these are some low stakes. When issues come up, did they bother you at all? That because they were so like solvable, like like did that bother you that these guys are so fucking stubborn?
At certain points it did, but then it's just like, wow, this is literally how real life friends act. They always do this shit literally all the fucking time. Just like, it's like things would be so simple, like if you guys just talk to each other, but most of the time you guys are too busy like being stubborn.
Yeah, Nick.
Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah.
No, there are a couple times where, like, again, we won't go into too much spoilers, but there's like an episode halfway through where one of the characters thinks like, oh, what was it? Oh, I know exactly what's going on. This is all your fault.
Exactly.
It's
It's
getting
like,
mad as fuck. And I'm like,
you're
fuck you, Nick. I don't know why I'm mad at you, but I'm mad at you right now.
yeah. There's an episode where they have a pretty intense argument with each other. It's like, yeah, that's kind of how people act when they had a falling out. So it's like, it sucks.
Yeah, and I see myself in like Mean, where and I mean obviously see myself in Ryan, but like in Mean, like there's certain times where you can see a buildup of him just kind of like groaningly getting sick of the other person's shit because. To Mean's point, Ryan is a fucking kid. Like, I mean, he keeps making these stupid mistakes and keeps like just dreaming almost unrealistically. But the thing is, though, is like I feel that way as Mean, where I'm like, dude, like, how many times have Alan said some stupid shit 3 years ago and then I'm bringing it up in 2021, or Ganja, or Jay,
all the time.
Yeah, and it's like so that's why I see myself in Mean at certain points in this because I'm just kind of like, dude, like. I have to get over that myself. I probably won't anytime soon. I'm gonna be honest. I'm biased. I like my own opinions. But when I look at something like this, I'm like, dude, like, this actually made me look at myself. Like, am I a fucking horrible friend? Am I an asshole? Like, I do this shit to everybody I know.
You guys aren't horrible friends. You guys just don't basically take the time to understand each other, even though you guys are basically a lot alike.
Yeah, Alan.
Yeah, Nick.
Yeah, bitch. Fucking
asshole.
asshole.
Likes you.
Well, you can feel free to add me to that list in 3 years.
Yeah. No, man. I really, really like that. Like, yeah, this was not as good as any of the other seasons, really, but the relatability to this and the fact that, like, I mean, this really put the lens on me. Like, hey, dude, what about you, motherfucker? And having like very, very low stakes just riddles this entire show where like at any time something can go wrong and right. Yeah. And it creates beautiful moments, man. Like, there's a point in here where they just go in a bathtub, and they're just chilling after Mean fucks over the other guy for like the third time, and yet they are just like they bond.
That hit me pretty hard too, where I'm just like, fuck, because I saw myself in a lot in both of them, where it's like the constant like they could solve this problem right now, but then Ryan's like, I'm not gonna talk to you because fuck you.
Yeah, they're both stubborn in their own way.
They're both stubborn, but it just kind of goes to me. It's like, how many of the problems could I solve immediately? If I'm just like, oh, I'm going to, just actually talk instead of just holding it in and pretending it's going to go away anytime soon. Like, this will kind of just showcase a lot of, like, yeah, it's not as deep as some of the other seasons, but it kind of shows that there's a lot of room to grow. You can tell whatever story within this. Yeah. But these characters fit these archetypes of, like, it's difficult. It's not always easy for you to get over yourself to talk to your buddy about what's wrong.
Yeah, I agree. This is, the season with the least stakes so far, which does kind of make this the weakest season, but at the same time, this is the most down-to-earth season yet, to where it is the most chill. You can watch it casually. It's like, it's more relaxed than, which we definitely needed after book 3.
After we damn near killed the audience of the third one.
Yeah, well, I mean, definitely killed the
Yeah.
Oh man! Oh no, that train's coming for me. I don't want to go on Infinity Train.
No, but but to wrap it up, at least on my part, this because of its low stakes and because it was very easy to watch, and it's something that I don't mind watching again in the future. Is a 4.5 out of 5 with me. Yes, I understand that maybe season 3 is better, and yes, in season 1 that was a way better world building type thing, especially just being the beginning of this huge fucking series. But this is my favorite season only because of the fact that it's like the relatability and the low stakes and how it can manage comedy and seriousness together. Like, not like I'm going to do a tonal shift, whatever. It's like it's always funny and serious the whole fucking way. That's very hard to do. As a writer myself, I've never been able to do that. I've tried to do that. I don't know how to do that. This show did it, and I wasn't even expecting it. That's fucking cool. The only thing I will say next is just like, I really like how they stole something from us, Alan. You know, our
Right.
first show when he came back, we were doing the podcast in the bathtub together, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah, pretty fucking
Really?
No.
But no, God fucking damn it, no. But at the end of the day, it's like, yeah, you're gonna sit there, you're watching with your best buddy, and you're gonna see those moments because at the end of the day, like no matter how long you've been friends, no matter how good your friends are, you're gonna have fights. Every friendship has fights, and there's gonna be times where it's like, you know, you're gonna move on, or you're not gonna be able to things aren't gonna go well, or things aren't gonna go perfectly. But then it's like when that moment happens, and you actually work with your buddy, and you can do amazing stuff when you actually start to get over yourself and start to talk and start to heal. It just takes them a long time to do it, and it's never perfect. It's not perfect when it ends, but it just kind of shows that it's like they're gonna have that ability to grow. And why is Gary losing his mind in the chat? Storm me the fuck
Well,
off.
no, I gave him a
it's
bonus.
scary,
I said
that's
we're in a
why.
bathtub together.
It was a joke, dude.
Oh
But anyway, at the end of the day, it's like, yeah, it's not. It's lower stakes. It manages to balance comedy and sadness. I think it's just like, yeah. But at the end of the day, it's not like I'm upset watching. I actually really enjoyed it. It's not as good as the other seasons, but the other seasons are fantastic. This is
And-
easily a 3.5 out of 5. Like,
And there's
easily.
also a couple of dark moments to balance it out too. That scene when they're in the art museum car, you know, you get a couple of intense moments.
Yeah.
But other than that, this is definitely the most chill season yet. And you know, like the other 3 seasons, they really do think of their characters and their worlds. And you know, it's still really well written and well done and likable. Both Min and Ryan are really likable characters, as well as Kez too. So this definitely is the weakest of the 3 seasons, but that does not mean it's not worth watching at all. So it's a 4 out of 5 for me. I definitely still do very much recommend it.
And Jet, you are the main event of this, man. Jet, what do you think? Would you rate this, as well as any lasting comments that you feel like should be added?
I don't know if we actually mentioned this or not, but I actually found it really interesting that this technically took place in the past.
Did it?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, that's the other thing I wanted to mention is that, you know, rewatching all 4 seasons the past week or so, I was trying to figure out the timeline. And,
Did
you
it
know,
take place? I know that.
This one took place because you see at the beginning, like on the back of his van, class of 1985.
Okay, I noticed that, but the
This
thing
takes
is
place in the 80s.
I don't want to go into spoilers.
I don't want to
because-
get in the other ones. You know.
I don't want to go into spoilers because it just came out, but there's a conversation between 2 people that only works if it's after the
if
last
you've only
3.
seen the other 3 seasons, so I don't want to give away. I know exactly what you're talking about.
I thought it was a continuation. Like,
No, it's a prequel.
is it?
Yeah.
Hopefully, someone in the chat could confirm.
Yeah, it's definitely a
I
prequel because
rewatched
like
this
the beginning.
I actually rewatched this again before we went on, and I definitely caught a couple more things. Like, yeah, this is definitely a prequel, other than the obvious scene at the beginning.
Yeah.
I want to say something that's a spoiler.
I don't want to say
Show
anything.
just came out.
I'm
So
trying
it's a
to
conversation
calculate.
between 2 people as soon as the characters enter the train. That doesn't make sense that this is a prequel.
No, it
Well,
is.
it is, you know, to prequel to 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah. Actually, well, really quick. So people gonna be spoilers right now. So go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Alan, tell 'em.
Okay, at the start of the enter, when Min and Ryan enter, they talk to what's her face in 1-1. Like, that's her there. The only way she's standing there is if you dealt with everything that happened in season 3. Like,
Well, no, that's her younger. Like when she
Is
gets
it younger?
asking-
Yeah.
Yeah, she's younger. She's like, oh, so this is how people enter the train and stuff. So this is before she took over
And the
the
big
train.
thing is that Amelia is about to take over the construction. Thing.
Yeah, she does. You know, and like, and you see.
I thought
it
that
in,
was
like,
her
the
when
last
she was
2
older,
or
because
so.
she's working together essentially with the new
No.
conductor to
This is
redeem
her
herself.
when she's young. Because when you see her older, she's all wrinkly and shit. You know, she-
Okay, that part threw me off because I saw the class of '85. I saw the dude had a mini synth. I saw that a lot of stuff's going on, especially the payphones.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, they don't have cell phones. But I saw the character. I'm like, oh no, this they just happen to not have the technology. That character only exists with this. I'm like, but I guess that makes sense.
Yeah,
And
this
another
is
big
like when
design
she was
factor,
like
too,
fresh on
is-
the train.
Another design factor is just like how Samantha carries herself, the cat, at certain times. Like,
Yeah, the cat would threw me off too because it's a different color. I wasn't sure if that was the same cat.
Well, you know, it is the same cat, but this is all before everything happens to her. That you see.
So
Okay, so
crazy.
we done with spoilers.
Yeah, we're done with spoilers, but you gave your rating, I gave mine, Alan gave his. Jet, take it away with your rating and anything that you feel like should be done.
Like everyone else has said, like this is basically the season with not as many stakes. I mean, there's still some there, especially with that art train. but the art gallery train. But it's pretty simple. You can easily figure out what's going on, but it still has a very powerful message. And just like, yeah, like, dude, this is the season of friendship. Like you got like friends have way more in common than they basically let on, and a lot of problems that you guys would have would simply be solved by literally just talking things out. And honestly, that's a pretty good message in itself. Let's see. I do feel like this season only took place in the 80s to show like what happened like earlier on in the train and like what's actually going on. And I actually found that a pretty interesting touch too.
Yeah, that
so
was
with that,
definitely interesting. Yep, go ahead.
yeah, it was pretty interesting. I will say this season is probably my least favorite, and that's not a bad thing either. Like everyone else said, like the other three are just absolutely amazing. So with that, I would give it a 4 out of 5.
And a couple more notes I want to mention. Like, I definitely understand why this season is more laid back, since the third season was so intense, and what they planned for season 5, if it ever happens, pray to God it does, is Owen Dennis promised to be far more intense. Like, I don't want to get into anything else. And another thing, just about all 4 seasons overall, the voice acting is all really, really good. And some people show up, that surprise you. For example, J.K. Simmons shows up as a character in this season. I didn't even know who it was until the end.
So
who it is.
Something I actually wanted to bring up, and that reminded me, same thing what Jet said. The amount of diversity in this show is fucking spectacular, and not just season 4. I remember watching season 1 through 3, going, I am spotting like a lot of like again multiracial people or women with hijabs and everywhere just sprinkled out throughout in the background. Like, yes, yeah, Tulip, quintessential white girl, but you start seeing a lot of the characters standing up. Hell, season 4 has 2 Asian American characters. They even bring it up at one point, again, the bathroom scene where it's like, hey, do you see anyone like us doing this? I'm like, wow, that was a real statement that doesn't feel out of place in the show, because this show has a lot of diversity sprinkled out throughout it. And
I also love the fact that it's also diverse in, bringing the first gay couple.
God damn it. It's like this fight I have where it's like apparently 2 guys cannot be friends without apparently there having to be some sort of love, because you can't just be friends.
No, hold on. How often does that happen in shows?
Doesn't matter how often that happens in shows.
No, it's not like it doesn't matter how often does that happen, because people always bring that up saying like, why can't these 2 characters be friends or whatever? That always happens.
Yeah, but it's like it's supposed to be like emulating real life, but like there are friends in real life that aren't gonna hook up.
Okay, for one, friends in real life, if they're lonely enough and they haven't been with somebody, like let me get a crack at that crack, okay? Like, come on.
What? What are you? What crack are you on?
Sorry.
I swear you're the worst.
Oh, come on, Alan. Me and you in a tent in the fucking woods, you'd be asking.
No.
You would.
Oh, don't be
you crack at it.
Can I get a piece of that butthole?
No.
I'm gonna be like,
and even in your own weird imagination, I'm the top.
Oh god, what kind of what train car are you on? The rape car? Like, what's going on?
Come on, we'll tell Jed.
What?
Oh, I hope my own door enters.
I think that speaks more about you than me.
The thing is, I'm gonna have Jed on like fucking Google Meet and my phone. She's gonna be like, what do you say?
This entire conversation is fucking.
I don't know where this conversation is going, but
if we didn't go off
Nick wants to reenact Brokeback Mountain for some fucking reason.
Yeah, it's gonna be. Yeah, I'm gonna do my own show called The Infinite Train. All right, like, and it's gonna be completely different. I'm not stealing any ideas. Fuck you guys. So.
So basically, you're trying to make an Ouroboros?
That's a Resident Evil villain, I think. Isn't that Resident Evil fucking?
I think so.
What the fuck? One question to end this off here. Now let Tommy go and everything. But like, dude, so the numbers. I think, and here's.
I don't know what they mean.
No, see, I think I do know what they mean. So when you get your number, whether it's 202 or blah blah blah, whatever the fuck, I think that it's almost like in Assassin's Creed where they, instead of saying health bar in Assassin's Creed, they say you're desynchronized. Like if your character goes through any kind of damage, the system that's keeping you like going in the past or whatever is always like, oh, you're desynchronizing because your person that you're trying to be didn't hurt himself that way. So
sure,
you're like that's what death is just being unsynchronized. I think that you are not in like what do you call it, like you're not in grips with yourself of who you are or whatever when you get into the Infinity Train. So it's like, okay, how far away are you from just being honest with yourself? Are you close to zero where you're kind of off it a little bit, or are you really far away where?
But my issue, like, you could have easily summed that up with a bar. My issue is, why the number 202?
Because
why not 203? Why not 201? Why not 200? That's my issue. Is like they're very particular. You need a number. But my issue is why does that number exist? Like, sorry. Why is that number that particular numerical value?
Well, no, I mean, they're not going to be able to actually show us, but I do think it's one of those situations where, you know, if they had some kind of HUD, like everything, like let's say you say something that's probably not as fucked up as you doing something, that's probably worth like 5 points, right? But if you do something that's fucked up, that's 10 points.
Well, they were going to explain this in one of the future seasons. If it happens, hopefully it does.
I'm sure it will. But HBO Max wouldn't have bought it for one season. Like they'll give it a couple seasons. They just have to get the people to come back and work on it. Yeah, it might be a couple years.
I mean, luckily, it's trending. So I think what I think is with the numbers is that if you just do something wrong, that's just simple. Like for example, Jesse, you know, peer pressuring his brother into doing something. You know, like, okay, you can get a 42. You're simple. But if you have more emotional problems, then it gets a little higher because you have.
But that's what I think. Like I'm wondering, like, what kind of internal calculation means I got a 42 instead of a 43 instead of a 41. That's the thing that throws me off because they're very clear. Hey, you have this particular number. Yes, the lower the number, the better. But my issue is you could have easily had a bar, like a green bar. If it's full, you got to go down. It just keeps going down until it disappears. You could have essentially equated the same thing. The thing is, they specifically chose numbers. Everything in the series is there for a reason. It's all intentional. Yeah, so I just want to know why, and I hope they explain it. And I'm curious.
Yeah, I hope they do. If they get renewed, which they better, you know. So I just don't know right now.
Yeah, so. But I don't know. Like, I mean, Jet, do you kind of subscribe to the same theories that we had though about that, or do you feel like there's something else with the numbers that we probably haven't brought up?
See, the number thing, like, I was, like, what I felt was, like, there was a certain range that you go in depending on, like, what you did. Because there was one dude in the second season who had, like, a high number. I think it was in, like, the thousands, like, first starting off, and just like, damn, what the fuck did he do? I think it was, like, some business owner or something like that. And I'm thinking, like, okay. Whose pod got busted.
It's basically
that poor dude, by the way.
It's basically the dad you see in every movie that, you know, he's a big businessman. Like, he ignores his children because business, and then he gets turned to a cat or some shit. Mm-hmm. Instead of getting turned into a cat, he ends up on the train.
Yeah.
Because, like, I'm thinking, like, there's a certain ranking for the numbers.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, like, there's a certain ranking of a number that you go by depending on, like, how bad you are.
I think it's the more psychological problems you have, the higher number is.
Yeah.
As opposed to just doing one thing wrong.
At the end of the day, like, I understand that, but it's like it's the numerical value is what throws me off because you could have easily just had a bar, but the fact that you chose the number 202 means something versus 201 versus 203. That's what I'm wondering.
I don't mean to be repetitive, but I just don't know.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. But
and I hope they explain it.
So yeah. Moving on though, guys. Well, we're gonna talk about a different topic here, but here's the thing, though, Tommy, my boy. I had fun with you being on and everything, but I'm gonna go and kick you out so you're not stuck listening.
I'm gonna go to bed anyway, so I'll be happy to be back. You know, another day.
Awesome, man. All right, dude. Peace out. God bless. All the good stuff. I don't know why I've been saying God bless a lot to everybody.
Yeah.
You walk out of the Infinity Train and you're like, man, I don't want to be in the bad train. There's some bad fucking cards in this fucking
me. I'll be happy to be on again for whatever is animated.
Nice, man. Awesome. Well, take care, dude, and thanks again, man.
Yeah, bye.
So the next thing we're going to be talking about over here, man, and I'm actually surprised that it took me so long to actually bring this fucking thing up. But, because, I mean, I showed you so many topics, you're probably like, dude, what the fuck could this possibly be? Because you
at this point, I just looked through them like, I have skimmed through most of these, so whatever happens, happens.
But here's the thing, and I want to build this up just a little bit because, I got to be careful with how I bring these things up, especially when it goes against what people know about me. But over here, this big old shark over here, I feel like me talking about this is going to make me
Oh, no, not another one.
Yeah, because I'm going to run the risk of sounding like kind of an asshole talking out my ass.
I'm the only one that watched that movie.
Well, see, yeah, that's the thing, because, like, for me, you know, and I was going to say, like, hey, let's all be honest with the fact that we didn't watch this, but I guess you did. And for me, you know, when we saw the trailer, for most people, I think that all of us were assholes because, you know, just put this out here, I didn't see this movie. I watched most of it. I didn't see the entire fucking thing, right? But, like, when I saw the trailer, I didn't have to see this fucking thing. It's a big fucking shark. It's stupid as fuck. This Meg thing with Jason Statham in the trailer, like, this is dumb as fuck.
Yeah.
This is stupid. You know what I mean? Like,
Forgot he was in it.
yeah, this is insane. Marisha's saying, you haven't seen the Meg? No, I have not, sir. But no, man.
I'm gonna be that honest person, just saying I fucking hate shark movies.
Really?
Most of them suck.
I cannot believe this.
There's only one that anyone thinks is good, and that's Jaws.
No, it's Shark Exorcist. But
Oh
besides,
my God.
besides that, like I usually just dread anything having to do with fucking shark movies because like not only do they basically make people even more fearful for sharks than they already are, but they're just bad just to be bad. Just like we need a really terrible movie with an animal. How about a shark? Exactly.
Every shark movie is the fucking same. There's a shark attack in the water. No, there is not. Let's go swimming. Oh no, shark attack. Call in shark guy with harpoon to kill it. I am shark guy with harpoon. Oh no, I died. I am every man. I will grab gun and fire. I killed shark. Movie over.
Yeah, no, you're literally not wrong.
Every shark movie.
No, because I hadn't even seen this movie all the way through, and I've seen parts of it that made me laugh or whatever, but, like, this also became a thing that it kind of pissed me off. Because with this movie, like, I felt like it was, and I'm talking about the first one. I'll actually show this over here, but, like, yeah. Damn, expert work, motherfucker. I want to show the picture. Anyways, with this movie, I was kind of pissed off because I felt like, you know, this was one of those things that was, like, completely fucking stupid. You know, this movie knew its dumbass audience and was comfortable entertaining them by doing something that's, like, you know, Sharknado-esque. Because, remember, back in the day, there was tons of Sharknado movies. There was
There's 5 of those.
Yeah, and then there was like some wannabe versions of that, dude. Like there was like some like when you want to be a Sharknado movie, like that's where you really start becoming shitty. Like that's where you take it too fucking far. So yeah, man, I'm looking at this now. This is you know, the Meg 2, and Ben Wheatley. I think that's his name, or Wheatsley. I can't fucking remember. But he's a guy that's behind the free movies as writer, producer, and director. He did fucking episodes of Strange Angel and Doctor Who. And I've never watched Doctor Who, by the way.
It's a good show.
Well, like all of it or just certain seasons? Because like...
Well, the show's been going on for 50 fucking years, but...
Okay, well, yeah, you can't...
They ended up doing a reboot, kind of. They ended up doing a reboot, kind of, in like 2008 or whatever. Mm-hmm. So it ended up being like, that's why I started series 1. It's kind of a reboot / sequel where it acknowledges the last 50 years, but it doesn't require you to watch it. And that's the point I started, and for honestly, 12 seasons, it's been pretty good.
Yeah, and I wanted to show this other thing really quick too. My bad, people, if I'm taking a while to get this shit going. Cause I typed the wrong fucking thing in. Shit. Cause I'm gonna bring up the guys. I want to show you guys the pictures of them and not just show that fucking shark the entire time. Ben Wheatley, the guy who's done Doctor Who and shit. This is this guy over here. You know, he looks like a happy fellow. But no, this guy.
Oh yeah, that guy. Yeah.
Oh, you've seen him before?
I've seen him in shit before. Yeah.
But like the Doctor Who thing, that was like fucking 7 years ago. So for some reason, this guy has been improved financially over the guy that did the last one. And the guy who did the last one was John Turtleteb, or John Turtleteb. I can't fucking say his name. But that's him over here, this guy right here. And yeah, he did the first one. And for me, it's like he's done the Rush Hour series. He's done Jericho, which is another series that was actually based on the Clive Barker books. Fucking awesome shit. I think it had a video game too.
Yeah, that game was actually not bad.
Yeah, were you about to say it sucks?
I was, but then I was thinking about literally last week. I'm like, I actually really enjoyed that game.
Yeah, those are pretty cool games, you know.
Also, where are you talking about the Rush Hour series? This dude didn't do Rush Hour.
Yeah, he did.
I don't see it on his film log.
No, the Rush Hour TV series.
Oh.
Yeah, John Turtleteb.
Yeah, I'm looking it up because I'm like, he did Three Ninjas and Cool Runnings and Instinct. This guy did a lot of both National Treasure movies and The Sorcerer's Apprentice. This guy really liked Nick Cage for like at least 6 years.
Yeah, oh, maybe I got him mixed up with Ben Wheatley. Okay, so that's the guy. Ben Wheatley's the guy who did the Rush Hour series. My bad, I fucked that all up. But either way, though, you know, this dude has done some other shit though. Like, I mean, like I said, National Treasure, the Rocket Man movie from 1997. Like, he's done some other shit, and like for me, it's like, okay, well, that makes sense for the first Meg because you would obviously want to like put money into somebody who's done a lot of stuff, or you know, has his has his whole like history, you know, cinematic history. Yeah. But the problem is though, is that he leaves. Ben Wheatley comes on, who hasn't done shit except for, like I said, the Rush Hour thing and fucking Doctor Who, and then Strange Magic. I haven't even heard of that fucking show. And it's like, why is he going to get such a big fucking budget? Because that's this topic here, is the fact that they're saying, yo, we're going to give you an insanely large-scale movie. You know what I mean? Like, we're going to make this as big as a fucking other one, if not way bigger. And I don't know. It's weird. And this is going to be a movie that Warner Brothers is putting all their money into. It's really strange. And keep in mind that this movie does not have Jason Statham attached to it, too.
Really? That's what surprised me, because I was looking at how much money the first one made, and it sucked, but it made $500 million on a $200 million budget, which is pretty much a success. Like, it doubled its budget, so it made money. Because Jason Statham movies, as much as most of them, probably not that good, and most people don't like him, that man doesn't make bombs. Every movie he's in makes its money back, no matter how big or small the budget is. I've not seen a single Jason Statham movie that's ever bombed financially. So it makes sense that they're going to keep throwing him in movies because he keeps selling to audiences. But the fact that they're doing a sequel without him, it's like, I know even he criticized the movie going, it's a shark movie, it doesn't have blood, it's not like gory. What was this? Like, he made the movie, but he still was criticizing it. But it's kind of weird that, like, the only reason the movie got sold was Shark and Jason Statham. That's the only reason it got into the theaters.
And they even had, they decided to spend money on people like Cliff Curtis, who was big because of, Fear the Walking Dead and Training Day and lots of other stuff like that. And like he was like in some, I think it was in Spartacus. He was like in some other big fucking scale like show, whatever that was on HBO.
Sure.
So it's like, yeah, you spend money on these particular people, and it's like, okay, well that wasn't, I guess, large scale in comparison to this. But now I'm starting to think though, it's like, okay, is this a large scale not because of what they have planned or what, whatever the passion is for the second movie, but maybe it's because, hey, we're not spending money on Jason Statham, Cliff Curtis, on the other guys. Like, this movie's going to be fucking huge. What the hell?
Well, I think that essentially with the, and do not get McPhee. McPhee is some of the worst shit in the world.
Yeah, I don't have it. I don't know why I pulled up. What the fuck?
It wants you to buy it. Renew it. Go fuck yourself. As far as the bigger scale, they're just like, well, no, we saw how well Godzilla versus Kong did in the MonsterVerse. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a giant shark movie, and the shark's going to be beating sharks up and doing all sorts of weird bullshit for the entire movie. We're basically like, hey, the last one made a ton of money. Here's $200 million. Do a rated R, hardcore, gory fucking shark movie because that's all anyone cares about, and just shit it out. I don't know why they wouldn't get Jason Statham back, but you probably read the script and goes, look, man, I got other action movies to do. I'm good.
Yeah, because, like, here's the thing, and there's not really a lot to unpack here, people. I mean, this is just me pulling as much as I can out of just a very, very small topic. But I do say that, like, I like, discussions that, inspire me to talk about things out of, like, no one talks about aquatic horror. Like, that's one big thing that I feel like, just like where Jets come.
Because aquatic horror can be done really, really well. Because
and really bad.
Let's say you're like, what was it? Let's say you're in a submarine. Well, you're surrounded by water that'll kill you. Like, if you're in a cavern in a scuba gear, your oxygen can run out. Like, the environment is scary. Yeah. Sharks adding to it, it's like, yeah, at any point you can get murdered. But all of them are terrible.
Yeah, and that's why I like aquatic horror, and that's why I like other different kinds of horror too. But that's why I'm going to ask a couple of things here. So there's not really much about the Meg 2 as much as it is about just other things surrounding this. First question to you, Alan. If you're given an unlimited budget to make a tier 2 movie, not tier 1, but just like a tier 2 movie that's going to open alongside another movie during a big box office weekend, would you rather spend that budget on big name actors, or would you rather spend that on the effects and stuff? Because I think that's essentially what they're doing here. I think that Meg 2 is like, fuck the actors. You're going to have people in here you never heard of. But, boy, we're going to have a big fucking shark that looks amazing. So,
I mean, it depends on what kind of movie am I making? Something like that's going to compete with the Meg 2? Or what movie am I making?
Anything. I mean, fuck it. Comic book. Like, just comic book movies.
At the end of the day, like, because effects don't sell movies as much as you think anymore. Like, yes, Godzilla versus Kong, but those are names. As much as we don't think of them are, Kong and Godzilla are names. They're like actors. But, like, effects don't really it's hard to impress people with effects anymore. So you need to do, like, either really cool shit. Because look at Independence Day 2. That movie was a giant effects movie.
Well, actually,
but it fucked up.
Well, I was going to say, actually, because you're about to say that, but let's bring up something that's very close to Independence Day that just came out recently. And you and I have argued about this movie before. Geostorm. Budget, $120 million. And then, it grossed $33.7 million. Now, by the way, and this is probably a really dumb question, but you probably know. So, people, if I look stupid, sorry. But when it says gross, is that straight up profit, or does that just mean it made 33 revenue?
No, gross means how much it made. Net would be profit. I'm looking at their. Oh no, that's confusing because that might have been domestic.
Okay, so for worldwide, 221. So it made money. It basically made its budget and then.
I would say it broke even because Usually the Wikipedia one is only the production budget. There's also the marketing budget, which is usually as expensive as the movie. So it's like $100 million for usually like the rule for if a movie successful is you times it by 2.
Mhm.
So 120 means to take 240 to break even, and it barely made that, so it probably broke even. That's why they're not making Geostorm 5 by now.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's been 4 years. They would have made one if they had a chance now. But at the same time, they gave Gerard Butler another chance with what's a fucking
Greenland.
World? Yeah, Greenland.
And apparently it was good, which blows my mind because like a good Gerard Butler movie and a good Gerard Butler disaster movie that doesn't exist.
But so I guess like me showing that kind of proved your point in a sense of like effects don't sell anymore because I guess it didn't sell for Geostorm.
But again, Gerard Butler got people in there because for some fucking reason people still watch Gerard Butler movies, and this is coming from a guy who loves 300. Like that man has made garbage movies most of his career. But at the end of the day, it's like I'm gonna go for the bigger name actor. But at the end of the day, I'm not gonna pick Will Smith. I'm gonna pick somebody like Jason Statham, where he's a big enough name to get in there, but he's not super expensive. So I don't have to sit there and sacrifice $50 million to get him in, like Tom Cruise or Johnny Depp. They 15, 20, $30 million to get those guys in. I'm gonna get someone that can still sell a movie. That way I can do a mix of both. Because at the end of the day, the Meg sucked not because Jason Statham was bad at it, but because the movie was just kind of boring. They had to keep it to PG-13. They couldn't really do anything. I don't think it was Jason Statham's fault. I just think they realized the movie might not make that much money, and there's only so much they can do because the movie's expensive. It was $130 million. But they just didn't want to do whatever they didn't want to do. So I think this time they're just going to get a bunch of cannon fodder actors and just focus all that money on the budget because they looked at Kong versus Skull Island. God fucking.
Oh yes!
Wow, I just came back at the right
They
time.
looked at Batman versus Lois.
Clip that chat. Oh, I'm gonna
I
hang
came
that
back
shit
just
on
in
my
time
fucking
for
wall.
Skull Island again.
You
Yep.
motherfucker.
Fuck Skull
You
Island. That
motherfucker.
place needs to be
Alan,
destroyed.
You've been fucking with me for months, you son of a bitch. Fuck you.
Yeah,
Wait,
fuck you.
what?
No one likes you.
Yes.
Go back on that train, bitch. I'd leave you. I'd
versus
leave you.
Skull
If I never came up on that train,
What
I
a
would book
moron.
it. Fuck you.
What a moron. You've been saying I'm a dumbass this whole fucking
You
time.
are a dumbass. At least I know how to read.
Fucking stupid.
Any fucking way.
Oh,
They're
this
looking
is
at
such
the
a good
recent
stream. I'm so
success
happy.
of Godzilla versus Kong, and they're like, we can do that, but with a shark. We already have a name. People are going to remember the name. We'll give them even the same budget, and we'll be fine. It's honestly just a response to how well Godzilla versus Kong did.
Yeah,
I hate you.
I love you, dude.
You're not my friend. Don't take your shitty guitar. Get the fuck out of here.
I know, right? You're about to pull a fucking Ming Me versus Orion. But anyways, my second question.
I would leave you on that train.
No, you wouldn't. You can't leave.
You're right.
We had the same
You're right, but I would think about it.
What is the most impressive thing that you've seen actually done in an aquatic horror movie? That's another question I wanted to ask you.
Ooh.
Because that's the thing. I'll say mine first. I think
Yeah, go
that
ahead.
one of the more impressive things I saw was what they did with Crawl, where that alligator was invading the houses and it was able to do almost like a home invasion / body count horror movie, but then also like, well, it's a storm movie, but then it's with this alligator. It's like there's a lot of surface level shit that we all go through, but it was all combined, and everything that was normal that we all go through anyways made the crocodile more scary, and then the crocodile made all that other shit more scary. And that's all brought to you by Sam Raimi and his fucking crazy ass. The way he does camera work down in the under the house and shit, amazing. So yeah, everything about Crawl fucking totally is what has impressed me the most about these kind of aquatic horror movies.
I think most of the aquatic horror movies suck, except for the only good one, which is Jaws. It's the only good shark movie I remember watching, and I watched it recently, like a year ago, and I hate you. I hate you for clipping that, you fucker.
Gary, I love you so much.
Gary, you're
But-
a hero. Unsung.
What the thing is, what makes the ocean scary is that because of the depth of it, you don't know what's hiding there. So they always do the music, the dun 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 dun, like they always do the Jaws theme, which is famous at this point. But even watching it, knowing what the movie was and knowing essentially what would happen, I was still tense, going, "Fuck, where is this thing gonna attack?" Because you're in its home. You walked into its house, and it's gonna fuck you up. So I think at the end of the day, it's anything that could show how vast it is, and it's not like, oh, they're on shore and you can see the beach. They're in the middle of the fucking ocean. If you're stuck in the water and no one knows you're there, that's it. You're dead. There's nothing you can do. So it's that idea of scale, and I think scales will always make the ocean scary. Because if you're just paddling water in the center of the ocean, no one's could save you. How do you get saved? You can't just see someone on a beach isn't going to see you. You're in the middle of fucking nowhere. So I think the most effective is like, showcasing the scale of that. I think Jaws is really the only one that does it well.
Yeah. By the way, too, thank you for correcting me there, Mauricio. Yeah, it wasn't It wasn't Sam Raimi director. He was producing though, but Alexander Aja is the one who did the.
Oh yeah, I thought I knew he worked on it. I just can't remember who directed the movie.
Yeah, I
apparently
didn't know
that.
Oh, I was gonna say I didn't know he did Hills of Eyes, but I know for sure he did Piranha. I think it was the remake, fucking Piranha 3D. That's what he did. But
What's a 3D, a 3 double D?
was there a 3 double D?
That literally, I think that might be the same movie.
Jesus Christ!
Fuck. I saw the trailer for that, going, God fucking damn it! Horror movies are dead.
But man, okay, and not to be this is kind of a sidebar, but it's almost like dude, like he did Piranha 3D, which has lots of titties, lots of girls, almost half naked, whatever the fuck. Crawl
Sure.
didn't have that. But then he did Hills of Eyes, and I'm like, dude, like, what is it about, like, guys who do... Oh, he did Mirrors as well. That was another one he did.
Mirrors? What the fuck is that?
Oh, it has, like, this one scene that's so cool in the trailer where this girl puts her hands in her own mouth, and she stretches out like Khan does those dinosaurs.
Oh, that's fucked up. I'm
Yeah,
dead.
it's pretty fucked up. It's pretty gross. But
I'm good.
but it's like, man, I gotta tell you, though, man, like, for those of, because people like to do that whole filmography, cinephile shit where, like, they look at everything someone's done. And it's like when they do that, I almost kind of like worry, like, hey, if they've done like 4 movies that had to do with rape or like abusing women, maybe should look at that and be like, he likes to make movies like this. Should he be on a fucking list somewhere? You know
Well,
what I mean?
it's
Like,
funny because there's also that other side, but there's also I've never watched JoJo, and I can't remember if this is a comic, but at one point, like one of the villains like kills a dog, and like it's a consistent thing that happens. And the fans ask him like, "Do you hate dogs?" He goes, "No, I love dogs." But I know people that fucking abuse animals get hated right away, so I just keep doing it. So you hate the villain immediately.
Jesus Christ! All right, well,
Like that's a good way to immediately hate the villain. Is anyone
it's cheap heat,
sympathetic?
though.
It is cheap, but does anybody hate the? Does anyone feel bad for the villains of John Wick 1? You want to watch them all die?
True, but I am getting sick of that shit, though. To be I like you, because I know you have this with you. I don't like seeing animals get fucking hurt in movies. And
Oh
plus,
fuck
too,
no,
it's
like straight up.
Yeah.
Like if that was a comedy, I would like legitimately. I remember when you were reviewing Keanu. I actually didn't watch that movie because I'm like, there's an animal involved. There's a comedy. I ain't seeing that shit.
Yeah, no, that's fucking annoying. And that's a stupid joke too. Like, oh, the dog, like in Soul Plane, there's a fucking dog gets stuck inside the airplane wheel or the.
Well, I actually didn't want to watch it because of that. Gagaja told me about it because he knows how I feel about him. I'm like, I ain't doing it. He's like, trust me, dude, it's the worst scene in the movie. I'm like, nah, I ain't doing it. It comes up. I'm like, oh, that is so fucking terrible. Oh my god.
Yeah. But I guess my last question here, and I'll ask Ganja and Jet this too. The reason why I asked you guys about the other ones because like they're loaded questions, and at the same time, it's like I know you guys are not too much into aquatic horror, but speaking of aquatic horror, do you feel like this? And I'll ask you first, Alan. Will there be another franchise that can ever take place in the water and be taken more seriously than Jaws?
Jaws couldn't even be taken more seriously than Jaws. They made 5 of those, and everyone was worse than the last.
Yeah.
I think that there's the Descent. No, that's not water. There was one that came out recently with Kirsten
47
Stewart.
Below, or
It was one of those. Yeah, it was one of those that was water based. I think that at the end of the day, it's like horror is gonna always want to find ways to transcend and to change genres. Because ghost horror was around. Like, do you remember the year where every horror movie was a ghost movie?
yeah.
Like, oh man, we have to do this weird ghost thing with like weird people just running up to the camera. Like that was horror genre for like a good 2 years. Eventually, people are gonna want to try water again, and someone's gonna pull it off. I don't know what they're gonna do, but it's also hard to do water for practical because like at the end of the day, it's like people have to be swimming in the water. Water has to come through and hit people. Like with ghost horror, you don't have to worry about hurting the actors. With water, people can die really easily.
Yeah, I mean, like I'm looking at stuff like Open Water or The Shallows. Shallows was really cool because it's pretty tech involved. Where it's like, hey, like you can tell when the shark's coming because of my machine, and my machine is the Jaws theme. Like because like I mean, it doesn't matter if it's dun 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 whatever. One of the classic sounds ever in horror is that alarm from Silent Hill.
Oh, the air raid siren. Well, air raid sirens are scary on their own, but that game added bullshit to it.
Exactly, but if that meant dinner time, I don't think it would scare you. It'd be like, oh shit, we're about to snack, motherfucker.
No,
like,
no, that's the complete opposite. Carnival music freaks me the fuck out.
Really? Wow. Seriously?
Yeah, because of Mario 64. I'm not kidding. I remember playing that shit as a kid, and they're playing the carnival. There's a carnival fucking level, but the problem with that is someone at Nintendo said, "I hate children." So that entire place is like giant ghosts are chasing you. There's a mimic piano that tries to fucking eat you. The ghosts go through walls, so you're not safe at that entire level. Then I play carnival music. I'd never beat the game because of that.
Gotcha.
I was too scared to get past it.
Gotcha. What we gotta do? We gotta take this motherfucker to a carnival.
Hey,
Fine,
look,
fucking go and go
I'm more
fuck
than willing to
yourself.
take this man to go see the clowns, the monkeys, the lions,
No,
the
clams
bears on
don't scare
mine.
me.
That's
It's
so
the
good.
music. It's the carnival music because I associate it with that game.
Yeah, dude. Well, fuck. And yeah, you're Alan. Just so you know, Marisha said it. Underwater with Kristen Stewart is the one from last year. So.
Oh, is it just called Underwater? What a fucking
Yeah.
lame
What?
title.
Yeah. I was like thinking. I was like, it can't be that. Like.
hey, what's the new Meg gonna be called? Meg the Shark.
Yeah. Damn straight. We creative. Jet, do you feel like anything's ever gonna overtake Jaws as being like the big ocean movie?
I mean, it's certainly possible. I mean, there's so many fucking like actual sea creatures that we have literally like don't ever talk about or haven't like just now found out about that are possibly like 1,000
Yeah, I
times
like how-
scarier than sharks.
My thing froze when you were showing the jaw stuff, and like it froze like on the part where the dude gets caught in the mouth, and my Google Hangouts has not refreshed then, so I'm just seeing Jaws just munching on a leg.
Damn. Well, just fucking.
Give me a second, I'll be right back.
I remember. I'll never forget watching Jaws and going like,
Well, now, never mind, it's back again.
okay. I will never forget watching Jaws and watching with my buddies going, what's this movie about? Because it goes like, I like the movie. It was great. But it takes like an hour and a half to get anywhere. And it's a completely different movie. It's not a shark movie. It
My
just has a
favorite-
shark climax. It's
my
a movie
favorite
about like,
scene-
what's up?
My favorite scene in that movie is hands down, like out of like, what is this fucking movie? Is when they're in the boat singing and hanging out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the movie at the end of the day is about like how people are rushing to safety and they're not willing to like it actually speaks a lot to the pandemic, but it's just like how people are willing to any perceived victory will be taken as absolute. And people aren't willing to deal with like
Gotcha,
people aren't willing
yourself,
to finish a job properly. They just want to finish just enough to get back to normal. And that's what this movie is really about. It just pretends like it sells stuff as a shark movie. It's not a shark movie. It just has a climax with a shark.
Yeah, no, I actually completely agree with that. But I almost like that though because I do like these characters and I do like what's going on. And plus, too, like one of the things I really like about this is economic, cinematography, economic cinematography, where the movie's already fucking long, where they're like, hey, we gotta show everyone living within frame. So it's like, this character, and I forget these guys' names, so I'm so sorry, but this dude, the main guy, they have him talking on the phone with somebody like, yo, there's another shark killing. Meanwhile, behind him, the kid's fucking around with stuff, looking at dad. I wish dad would give me pay me attention. And then the wife is cooking and going through all this stuff. And there's so much stress in one frame, and there's no sharks involved. It's just these motherfuckers living in frame, and it's like that is great. That's why certain cinematography or I can't think of the fucking word, but it's like
Cinematography is important for that exact reason.
It shows
makes
like
world
the
feel
everyday
legit.
anxiety that goes into like the panic of the supernatural or unnatural in case
Well,
of
it
Jaws.
ends up being it is a horror movie because essentially does what a lot of like why I like the Halloween horror movies is it spends a lot of time building up the characters before the titular character shows up. Like you watch any Halloween movie, Michael Myers doesn't show up for most of that movie.
Yep.
It's all about, hey, we need you to get to know the characters. Some are going to be meatbags and some are going to actually give a shit about. And once we establish it, guess what? This force of nature comes in and everything you learned about the movie gets used throughout it, no matter how stupid the fucking movie is.
Yeah, and that's why I like what Jet said about just like we don't know what's underneath the water because sometimes you don't even have to show that. If we get enough characters talking about what could be underneath there, and they give us enough of a reason to think that something really fucking like not cool is down there, like I guarantee you, dude, that can make the whole movie just keep you at the edge of your seat and do very little, and yet still be fucking amazing. Because Jaws itself, and we're bringing up Halloween, we're bringing up all these other things, Jaws barely shows that fucking shark too. So
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's very similar to Halloween because Halloween, it's not like Michael Myers shows up and he's just slashing people. Throughout,
Man, that's
like,
actually
an
a
hour and
good
half.
example. Because if you
Well-
think about it, Jaws also has the iconic theme song that appears when the killer is around.
Exactly. Yeah, same thing. Very similar. That's why it's like it is a horror movie because it does a lot of the same stuff. But any Halloween movie, every single one, maybe not the remakes so much. I don't remember those as well. But every single Halloween movie, it takes 45 minutes. Halloween 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. Like it takes about 45 minutes, and you almost never see him.
yeah. I will say though, I'm curious if Jet's gonna watch some of these shark movies with me, and he's gonna end off every single fucking big fight scene. Like, man, I'll kick the fuck out of that shark. I'll beat that shark's ass.
Man, you ain't fighting a shark.
Jack could
You
probably.
know, the
fight a
thing
shark.
is, like, sharks are actually more scared of you than you are of them. Like, literally, all you literally have to do is literally, like, push them away. Like,
Yeah, but that's implied there's no blood in the water.
why
Don't
would
get
there be blood on me?
Yeah, like don't get hurt. You know.
Don't get hurt, but if you try to kill a shark, its own blood
I'm
will
not
also
trying to kill
come
a
from.
shark. Like, literally, like, listen, get out of my fucking way. Move.
Wait, I have an
You
idea.
sound like a dog. Like you're just gonna push it
Yeah,
aside.
look, man. This is like that fucking not impractical. Is it Impractical Jokers where they put that dude in a fucking shark tank and put him in the water?
They've probably done that.
Was that the one where they open the door?
Well, I don't know.
I know they put him
did
in
to
a
Mike
shark
Tyson
fucking
before.
thing, and I'm like, yo, fuck that shit. Nah, you can't do that shit to somebody. Put him in a shark tank. Fuck that shit.
All right, so Alan,
I mean,
would you go in the Shark Tank?
No,
How much?
nothing.
How much?
Suck me off.
Okay, wow.
Money
well,
wise.
shit, I guess you're not getting any
Yeah, so
money from
$15
any of these
worth,
fucking
like-
sharks.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm asking this price. If we got a TV company to come in and they were like, "Hey, we got something for your podcast to do," that'd be very fun. Alan said it on an episode he would never do this. Well, we have the budget. Would you do it?
Do I get all the money? That's the first thing.
We'll give you commercials. We'll give
Fuck
you access
you.
to commercial.
No, I need a stack, and then I'll consider it.
Well,
Listen, Mr. Wonderful isn't gonna wait for you to fucking decide. He's out.
Look, 20,000
Okay, that's reasonable. In Hollywood.
American.
And believe it or not, that's actually reasonable. Steve got paid way more for his dumb shit.
20,000 American, because then I can convert it to Canadian and way more money.
well, we'll definitely, fucking re-embrace that idea, that fucking pipe dream when it comes. But the thing is, guys, we're getting the fuck out of here, though. MEG 2, it's happening. So, I don't know. If you guys have any thoughts, whatever, make sure to let us know next time we're on the stream, whatever, which will be tomorrow. Tomorrow, I'll be on at 3 o'clock CST. That's right after Chris Herman's stream, the DT gameplay stream. Hopefully his house isn't fucking, attacking him or something. And we
It's
can
on
actually-
fire now.
I mean, that
It's
guy's
turned
going
to the
through some
monster
shit.
house.
Yeah, no shit. I mean, he's just going through so much. So yeah, man. Once again, guys, I said this earlier, but make sure to give Chris as much love as you guys possibly can. Rock's going crazy in the background with that dog. It's almost like it's not a good idea to have a fucking dog in the house. Anyways, so
I'm really glad that a cat.
no, I do not want to explain that to you. You're a grown man. You should know that this.
Yeah, you're a grown man too. People like dogs.
Anyway, so Alan, why just have where to find you and all that good stuff.
You can find me you can find me here. You can find me in Metropolis. We have an episode of Illuminati that's in the works. It should be up in a few days. Drop a like on there so you see when the shit gets premiered. The Nunes just did their longest episode yet, 2 hours. So be sure to check that out. Yeah, basically drop a like on there. You'll see when the premieres go live. Follow any of us on Facebook. You'll see the premieres as well.
I can't
Alright,
wait till I have
guys.
children to scream. See that kid shit in the background? That's why motherfuckers should have kids.
Yeah.
You guys did shit.
So with that said, people, thank you. Bye. And stay toasty, all that good stuff. Big farts.